Hello, what's up guys, I'm Kyle from KGR, and this is the SH Figuarts Obito. When this figure was announced, I got super excited because this is the first Naruto character with a cloak like this from the newer releases. Even though this is not the first Figuarts to have a cloak like this is the first for Naruto. So if this goes out well, maybe we'll get a Katsuki, or better yet, maybe we'll get a better version of Itachi. So now that I finally have him in hand, if I were to give you a rating right now, out of 5, I'd probably give him maybe a 3. He does a fine enough job, but there is resistance in some of the articulation. But for the most part, he's still pretty solid. The only real complaints I have is, even though like you got some decent ab crunch, but moving him back and stuff like that, and moving his sides, you feel a lot of resistance. In the neck, with the collar, if you move him left to right, he has a lot of resistance. Especially if you have the mask on. I noticed that if you have the mask on and turn the head left and right, the whole collar will just pop off. But I think the thing I was really impressed with was, even though like this arm feels fine because it's just a standard arm, this arm has only a little bit of resistance versus this arm, mainly because of the size of it. But for the most part, like, it didn't really ruin much of the aesthetics to give you the articulation that you need for this. When it came to me posing with this thing, I got the job done. He did a fine enough job. It's just not as good as like the regular Naruto Sasuke that we got, but for the most part, for Obito, especially with the molding that he has, he did a good enough job. And when it comes to the overall sculpt and paint, they did a really great job. The face paints look really good. I really love the detail on the side of his face where it shows all the scars. Part of me is kind of curious on how it would look like if it had the lines through it, like the way you see his eyebrows and stuff. But there's a reason those lines aren't there, so I'm really happy with it anyway. It still looks really good. And the thing I'm like really impressed with is kind of stupid. Like, you see how his face looks, and most of the Naruto figure art, you just like swap down his head and it's mostly fine. But with this one, just like Sasuke, I believe, you like pop out the hair and then swap out the face. But because of how the spikes are lined up, especially from the front and the top, like, it just blends in so perfectly. You can still see like the seam lines from the side, so you can see the gap is there, but from the overall like front presentation, it comes across very clean. They did a decent job with this. I feel like they did as much as they could with Obito, and for that I commend them for it. They did a good job with it. The resistance is there, but it's not bad, especially when it comes to like the bottom half of his cloak. Like, this is still very flexible. You can still do whatever you gotta do with the legs without much resistance. He does a good job. Unfortunately, he has like the really ugly joints down here, but thankfully the cloak just hides that, so it's fine. When it comes to the accessories, I think he did a good job with these as well. When it comes to extra characters, we have an extra face for Naruto and his Sage Mode eyes, which, cool, looks great. But if I'm going to have a Sage Mode Naruto, I want to have a full-on Sage Mode Naruto. I want to have the cloak and all. And the mask looks so good. I'll put that on here soon. But when it comes to Obito's faces, I only like 2 of the 4 faces he has. There's regular neutral face, as well as teeth gritting. But when it comes to this face, like this little smile right here, this little smirk, it's the same way I feel how Madara did it. It doesn't look all that good to me. It just comes across more like Chucky from Child's Play more than anything. Like, at least that's how I feel. I'm not sure how anybody else feels. I'm just not a fan of it. I feel like in certain scenarios, it can come across really clean, especially when he's about to stab with his sword hands. I'll show off really soon. That probably looks fine. But this face, where he's just blowing, what's the point in that? I don't see any hands that show him that he's about to do a fireball jutsu. He doesn't even come with a fireball jutsu effect. So, it's just silly. It's just there. It's not very necessary for me. And then we got a decent variety of hands. We got a set of like neutral, like hands being down. We got pointer fingers for some reason, jutsu hands, gripping hands, and a couple of hands together doing the standard Naruto like jutsu thing like this. I feel like most of these should come with that anyway, so good job. And then when it comes to extra accessories, we get the hands with the blades in them, and then we also have the Madara fan with the chain right here. And that chain can connect right under his armpit in this small little peg right here. And getting it in there is not difficult at all, so that's good. In fact, when I have him on my shelf, I actually have him next to Madara looking like this, and it does a beautiful job. I think it looks fantastic. But swapping out the heads isn't too difficult. So when you pull from the head, the neck comes with it relatively easily. And then the collar is going to fall off every time. So be careful with that. And then you're just going to line that up properly. Like so. You're going to see this little oval right here. You're going to pair that with the back. And then you're going to put on the extra head. And then bing, bada, boom, you are set. You should hear a satisfying click, but if you don't, it's still fine. It's still in there just fine. But yeah, you got even less head movement if you have the mask on, but I feel this looks the coolest anyway. And then you can completely move the tail around like the older Naruto SH Figuarts where it's on a ball peg, so like you have a little bit of movement, but like it spins around instead of like with the newer Naruto where it only is on a swivel to go up and down. So I'm happy to have this effect back. And I love the fact that it's like windswept like this. I wish the Naruto SH Figuarts would have that too, but it is what it is. But if you pair this with other characters, it does a fantastic job. He looks so fantastic with Madara, like I've shown you. He looks really good with Kakashi, but it only looks good with Kakashi when you have the proper effect. So like if you have like the kid Sasuke with his lightning blade slash Chidori, I feel like that one's probably the best looking for Kakashi, especially when you pair him like with the blades in his hands. Like, it looks so good, which by the way, I'm not a fan of it. So you pop out the hand, okay, no problem, and then you're gonna grab one of these hands, okay. So normally when you want to put the hand in, I just push in by the palm or like any center of it and just press in that way. With the blade being there, you don't really have that option. And the blade doesn't come out of his hand either. So like, you gotta put it on there, and it has to go in there at a certain angle too. You gotta push it in from the sides and be very careful. But when it's in there though, like it looks pretty sick. Like look at that. Tell me that doesn't look cool. But it also makes me nervous because if you put him on a stand, the standard stands for the SH Figuarts just do a little grip around it. It's not too secure, but it does a decent job. It's not like Figma or Amazing Yamaguchi where it's a peg and a hole and it just stays in there really good. So let's pretend that either someone's walking around your room, or God forbid an earthquake happens, or in my luck, someone just waves their hand too fast in a completely different room, and then the wind just swoops around the environment just enough to knock him over, and next thing you know, he falls on the ground, and then next thing you know, the sword's broken. That didn't happen to me yet. But knowing my luck, can. So I have him hanging out in the back of my bookcase, in the back of my shelf. So there's not much gravity to be there, and not much room to fall, and hopefully not break the thing, because this is expensive. I can't afford to replace this. So even though these hands give me anxiety, it pulls off the effect very well. They do a better job versus Kakashi just being him and his hands and faces. No ninja tools. No, nothing to really say. I'm a ninja. It comes with a book. That's it. And then if you want to put on the blade thing, which I'm going to do that again because I'm going to put it on my shelf like that anyway. So we're going to put this hand in. We're going to slide this on. I guess I'm just going to like do it backwards for the most part. So I'm going to like have it slide through the hand like this. So it's the same fan that you got with Madara. So like me seeing it, I'm like, okay, it's the same fan, whatever. And then you get your chain right here. So this thing's neat. So we're going to put it in his little fan, okay? Or his paddle for discipline. And then you're going to see the little hole in his armpit right there. So we're going to pair that with that. I promise lining it up is not that difficult, but for some reason, it felt difficult. But there he is. Now it looks like that, and it looks so freaking cool. I had fun with this figure, posing it with Kakashi, but I have a feeling I'm going to love him more once I get the Kurama Link Naruto. I have that pre-ordered, and I plan on reviewing him as well. So I feel like doing a fun dynamic fight with him versus Tobi, or in this phase, he's kind of pushing himself to be Madara. Like, I don't know, I think it'd be really fun to do that. So it's sad that like I have him now, but I don't have the new Naruto yet, because I'm really excited to have that fight this. Overall, I think if you're a fan of Obito, you're going to like this figure. I got him mostly to like complete the collection for the most part, but like overall, it's decent. The articulation is a little bit restricted versus other characters, but with how he's sculpted, like how he looks, gotta kind of expect that a little bit. That said, like, I was a little disappointed at first, but now that I actually play with him and actually have a good time with him, he's not that bad. I think he's just a little bit better than Kakashi, but I feel like if you have him, especially with him being regular Obito with his regular head on, you gotta have Kakashi. And if you're gonna have that, you gotta have some lightning abilities, because Kakashi doesn't come with that. But I love the fact that you can pair him with other characters and make it look good, whether it be Madara, Kakashi, or Naruto. I don't think you'll be let down too much, but like, I feel like once you play with him, you'll like him. You'll think he's good. So if you do want to buy this figure, links will be in the description on where you can buy this. Some of them are affiliate links, so it does help me financially and helps me buy more figures and do more videos. So yeah, I think he's decent. I think he might be worth picking up. But let me know in the comments, who else do you want to see in the Naruto SH Figuarts line? Because there's a lot of characters we could eventually get. I'm hoping that since this one actually did a half-decent job, I think seeing characters from the Akatsuki, especially Itachi, I'm a Deidara fan myself, but I'm excited to see where this goes. I think they did a decent job with this. But that's it for the video. So if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description there's going to be my social media, so you can check out my Instagram where I do more photo shoots of these figures. But yeah, I love this so much. They did such a good job with this. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. So peace.